We're rolling.
Who is going to start the show this week?
Well, I've done it a few times. I'm getting a bit bored.
I did it last week.
Luke.
Luke.
Rolling titles.
Welcome to the Property TV show.
So, we got a special guest this week.
Such a guest.
Luke St.Clair.
In the house!
Okay, so Luke is with us to talk about landlord farming.
Digital mayor.
Yes.
He's also here he's paid you loads of money to teach him how to do video.
Yeah, he hasn't.
Well, he doesn't need any teaching. He's
Advanced video training. Advanced video training.
Advanced techniques.
Yeah, well, Luke, like some of our other friends.
Who is Luke? Because there might be two people out there in the world that don't know who Luke St.Clair is.
Who is Luke?
Leicester legend.
Legend.
Knightsbridge Estate.
Friends with TP, Tom Panos.
Yeah,
Oh,
on his power panel.
Spotted in Australia at
Spotted in
random.
Australia at random.
I mean, we talk about that actually, yeah.
Luke, let's give us a bit of background about you.
Yeah, so I'm from Leicester, estate agency in Leicester called Knightsbridge with 3 branches, do sales and lettings. Went into video probably about 18 months ago starting. You can see some of the first early clips. They're worth quite a bit of money now.
Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can see them on YouTube still, so they were crap.
They were pretty awful.
So
Are they the kind of videos that appear on before they were famous type shows?
That's the one.
They are the ones.
Yeah.
So when you're the next Jimmy Fallon or whatever, you'll be showing those, won't you?
Okay, so you're a normal run-of-the-mill estate agent. How the hell did you end up being one of Tom Panos' disciples?
just by constantly following him and sleeping outside his bedroom a few times.
Gets you noticed.
What have you learnt from Tom Panos?
With Tom, it's all about the different approaches with the estate agency. So, what the scripts and dialogue to use. So we normally take half an hour to say something. He'll sum it up in 50 words and make a distinct impression. But also the standards of marketing. So they've been doing video for a long time, and the quality of the marketing. So again, putting you in touch with who to kind of watch, copy, and rip off and duplicate.
What do you think the Australians could teach the Brits when it comes to estate agency?
In terms of the quality of the marketing, vendor paid advertising, that's quite common. Went over with Stephen Brown, Sean Adams recently.
Oh, we love Stephen Brown.
Hi,
Hi,
Stephen.
Love him.
So we went over to AREC and spent a week and a bit touring different agents.
So what's AREC then? Isn't that like a free holiday on the firm?
Yeah. Not going to lie.
Maybe we could all go.
Maybe we should go to Aric.
Yeah.
We should go, I think.
I don't think it gets signed off by senior management.
Neither do I.
But in all seriousness, it's the biggest real estate conference outside of America.
Okay.
I've been for the past 3 years. It's over 2 days, 2 full days. 8 o'clock in the morning till about 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. 32 speakers over
all the big players in the industry then.
Yeah, but they bring in people from overseas. So they brought in Tom Ferry. So anyone that hasn't watched Tom Ferry or followed Tom Ferry, have a look.
Go and have a look.
He's doing his summit event at the minute in California, I think. But very good in terms of real estate. Again, video, very much endorses video.
In terms of their model, you know, we talk about a lot, and what a lot of our friends in the industry, you know, a lot of people we work with, you know, everyone bangs on about cheap fee agent, cheap fee agent, cheap fee agent. Watching a lot of Tom's stuff and looking at the Australian model, it's not the same, is it?
No, it's more about adding value and demonstrating why you're worth the extra money, but how you're then going to benefit the owner. So yes, you may be 1.5% or 1% or X amount of thousands of dollars or pounds more expensive, but at the end, the vendor or the owner is coming out with a better net figure.
Yes.
So even though there are cheaper agents,
you'll get a better result for them.
Do you think the British agents are good at proving worth?
no,
Why do you think that is?
because we haven't had to. Because it's been quite complacent, and then the easiest thing to do is to just lower the fee. And providing there's volume there, that's okay, but housing transaction volumes aren't there, are they? Compared to where they were even 2 years ago, they're still on decline. Compared to 10, 11 years ago, it's a lot less.
Well, I'll give you some numbers, guys, and I roll this out, and it always amazes me. In 2004,
Stato.
2004, 1.8 million houses were sold by around 9,500 estate agents, and last year, 1.1 million houses were sold by 18,000 estate agents. Work your sums out, guys. There's less pie, and there's a lot of people going to the party to eat
That's
it.
right.
And do you think, just you said about their marketing strategy and vendor paid marketing, do you think it's a shift that we're seeing over here, or are people still sort of sat on the backside thinking, it'll be all right, I've been on the high street 30 years, I'm not going to go under, you know?
Yeah, there is a lot. There is a lot of that, but more and more people are becoming more in tune to having to evolve and change.
Well, you saw that last week in the high street with the agents closed all their
Humbers.
Humbers, and that, Well, it's going down that hub model where you have self-employed agents working out of some people call it the umbrella model, the associate model. What's your thoughts on that? Do you think agencies going down that route?
No, I still think there's a place for the high street.
Well, no, I'm not saying. Okay, what about the self-employed model?
The self-employed model, yes, there is a route for that, for the right motivated individual. That's the key.
That is the key.
Because that model's not going to be suitable for someone that's quite comfortable, doesn't really want to lose their weekends or evenings, quite happy for a 9 to 5 kind of routine.
We mentioned, was it last week or the week before, about Summer and Matt from Newman's.
Hi guys.
And there was a photo of them on, I think it was Landlord Farming, and they were still in the office at 8:30, you know, finalising plans and details. And it's easier if you haven't got kids or a family, but like you said, it's about putting that extra graft in.
Do you think the mindset of estate agents in the UK is different? Because in Australia, they're all nearly self-employed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just to give you an example, so when we were over in Australia, we were with Edward. So hi, Edward, if you're watching. He's from NGU Real Estate. So anyone that's not seen one of his videos, maybe you can put it in the comment section, but there's one that features a dog. Yeah. And that was the a particular video that then went viral in Australia. Right. Because the dog was presenting the home as the real estate agent.
Oh, cool.
People love dogs and cats.
But it was 11 o'clock at night, and a vendor was dropping off a signed contract to him on a Sunday evening. Yeah. And he was making time to go and deal with that. How many agents over here would do that? Yeah. Similarly, on the Saturday afternoon, yes, he'd finished his open homes, but on the Saturday afternoon, again, he was dealing with negotiations on a property in order to get it sold.
Is that a big day for them on Saturday?
Saturday is what they call their game day. So open homes, chance to go and meet potential vendors. So that's their
doing the face-to-face bit. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's find out what the UK market's doing.
Steve says the market is good.
Awesome, thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Now,
where did that come from?
I just want to.
It's a new feature.
It's a new feature.
Did we not tell him about
We didn't tell him.
Why did you not run that by me?
It's good though,
It's
isn't it?
collaborative.
Is it? Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
team effort.
who have you been with recently?
Sally Lawson,
Who have you been with Sally Lawson?
who's just stepped down from being Arla president.
How was that?
An hour and a half interview.
Oh, amazing lady.
Yeah.
An hour and a half interview, and it was top draw.
Yeah.
It was like a conveyor belt of golden nuggets just coming at you.
Shall we have a quick interview with
a sneak peek
of Sally?
Why don't we have a little sneak peek? Probably just a little snippet, because obviously we just got to run it by her first.
A sneak peek of Sally.
Here's one sentence of Sally.
Sally, how can letting agents use all this legislation to their advantage?
Well, I think one of the key things over the last couple of decades is that if you think about it, going from 2010, let's say, when the government started to really impose quite a lot of legislations on us, let's think about what letting agents have done. So You know, we had the gas regulations came out in 1994, the fire and furniture regulations 1994, and then we had the Housing Act 2004, which brought out deposit registration, the HHSRS. We've then had the Immigration Act changes that have come out, about the deregulation. And think about over the years, what's happened over the last 2 decades, letting agents just gone, don't worry, Mr. Landlord, I'll do that for you. Don't worry, Mr. Landlord, I'll raise your deposit for you. Don't worry, Mr. Landlord, I'll check the immigration status. Don't worry, Mr. Landlord, I'll test the smoke alarm on the day of moving. Don't worry, Mr. Landlord, I'll serve the how to rent guide and make sure we've got evidence of all the notices that we've served on moving. Mr. Landlord, don't worry, we'll take care of all that for you. The biggest challenge we have is that over the last 2 decades, we have just assumed this responsibility, but not communicated it to our landlords. We've not gone to Mr. Landlord, do you realise we are now having to do this, that, the other? We've just consumed a list of extra work and not even charged.
We're not proving our worth to landlords?
We're not proving our worth, but we're not demonstrating what we're doing. And what I'm finding, I speak to literally thousands of agents across the country, I'm speaking to landlords all the time, and what I'm seeing is the landlords and the general consensus out there is what letting agents do is we find a tenant, just
whack a board in the ground and chuck it on Rightmove.
Yeah, that's what they think. I mean, the amount of times that in press interviews I've been asked, but Sally, all you do is photocopy a piece of paper. I love that statement because it's just so not what we do. I mean, it's 17 hours of work just to move somebody into a property, and yet the belief is all we do is photocopy a bit of paper, and that's the biggest challenge we have right now, belief versus reality.
How do we get that message across as an industry to landlords that we put all that work in and we're worth our money?
We've got to start getting better. We've got, as letting agents, we've got to understand the legislation inside out. We've got to use it. We've got to talk about it. We've got to explain it. It's not about how great we are as a letting agent, how many awards we've won, how brilliant we look. It's basically about what we know. And that's what's got to change. We've got to start talking about it and communicating it. And traditionally we don't. We talk about our services, our awards, our CMP or whatever, but we don't talk about what we know. And I think if we started to communicate what we know and started to educate landlords of what they don't know, we'd start to see a very different reaction.
And being Arla president, you'd have seen a lot of letting agents. Have you seen some good examples of that around the country?
Of good letting agents?
Getting that message across?
Yeah, I mean, there are some letting agents that do a really, really good job of this. And I think the key is training, educating your team, educating your staff, making sure the people at the front understand the legislation inside out. See, what is probably more common is that the back-end team, the head office team, the CEO, the director, the managers, the compliance director, the property management team, etc., understand fully all the layers and layers of legislation, and yet the negotiators and listers at the front are just salespeople. And that's the big problem. We've got to take that education, that knowledge from here down to the front-end team, because it's point of sale that they need that information.
How do letting agents train their staff? Do you think they train them?
Well, some don't, which is a shame. There's lots of great training out there. I mean, Arla does some fantastic legislation training. There are other organisations and bodies out that do training. You can do it in-house. I mean, I've always done it in-house personally. We've done a lot of, every week we run, for example, an hour and a half training session, and we take people through all the legislations they need, but we also mix in with that case studies and examples. Do you remember that landlord when, and do you remember that situation when? And it brings the learning alive for them and makes it real. So I think however you choose to do it, it now needs to be done.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Star Lady.
Amazing.
Star Lady.
Yeah, and you know, it's great to see.
We went to Arla last year, and
yeah.
it's good. I mean, they got some key speakers, and even just working around on the shop floor when you were doing interviews last year,
Really cool.
a lot of same-minded people. You know.
I mean, are you an Arla or National Association member?
No.
You see, interestingly, I asked them, is it really worth the money, the 240 quid?
Yeah.
And when you actually listen to them, it is. You get like a helpline, you become part of something. And I think the biggest thing that I didn't realise about Arla was the amount of work they do politically behind the scenes. The problem is, as I told Sally, you're not telling enough people about it.
Yeah.
You know, the amount of silly legislation that the government were planning to bring through. I know everyone's not happy about the tenant fee ban. That is purely political.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That basically Hammond looking round for something a couple of budgets ago and thought, oh no, we'll get that in. Because remember, the housing minister didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
Really, if the housing minister was told this is what's happening, because the housing minister the week before said there'll be no tenant fee ban.
Well, we've got a little video from Arla, haven't we?
Oh yes, we've got a few videos from Arla.
Well, should we listen to David Cox talking about Arla?
Yeah,
Sure.
all right then.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
good.
Thanks, David.
I'm with David Cox, the CEO of Arla. David, is Arla really worth 230 quid a year?
Absolutely. If you think one of the biggest member benefits we have is the legal helpline, staffed by full solicitors, Dutton Gregory solicitors. Think how much a solicitor costs an hour. You have as much calls as you want, as many calls as you want a year.
And what do they do for that in that phone call?
They will provide you with the legal advice. We get all manner of questions from some of the most basic, I've got myself confused with the Section 21 notice, up to really complicated pieces of legislation.
So they can ring as many times as they like, within reason, and sort any legal question out that they can, and that's all including the 230 quid?
Absolutely.
So it sounds like we're already in credit, but come on, what else do we get for our money?
I think we are. You get the discounts on the courses, the qualifications, so that actually can save you significant amounts of money when you're actually doing your training, your CPD. Access to the free regional meetings as well.
And what do agents get out of those meetings then?
So the regional meetings, we find them particularly useful. Agents constantly telling us what the key issues for them at the moment. So for example, we're in the first half of 2018 at the moment, GDPR's are coming in a few weeks' time. Our 30 regional meetings over the first half of 18 are all about GDPR. So they get a legal update, they get an in-depth GDPR update, and they get a bit of an update from either the President or myself about what Arla is doing.
What else do I get from a £230?
So I suppose one of the key aspects, and it's the one that's not easily tangible, is the lobbying support. Agents on their own have very small voice when trying to talk to government. Agents coming together, and the 9,500 members within Arla coming together, represents the majority of the industry, which makes our ability when going in and talking to ministers like we've had today is a real benefit, because we can make sure that...
Are you really that powerful, in the industry? Some people say Arla is a tiger without any claws. Would you agree or disagree?
I would disagree, unsurprisingly.
Oh, go on.
I suppose it's one of those things. I don't have a magic wand. I can't go into the housing minister and say, you should do this, do it now, and they will just say yes. For every time I go in and say you should do this, somebody else will be going in and saying you should do that. Now, we have had quite a lot of successes.
Go on,
regulation.
what difference have you made?
CMP, I think, is probably the biggest one that we have to date. We have been campaigning for years about CMP. We managed to get Baroness Hayter to introduce it in the Consumer Rights Act. She then introduced it again in the Housing and Planning Act in 2016. The government agreed. It will be coming into force in a few months' time.
What do you think client money protection will do to the industry?
I think it will level the playing field. I think it's going to knock a few people out that can't get client money protection because they're not running their businesses properly. But I have no issue with that whatsoever. I think we need to professionalise the industry. The private rented sector does have a pretty poor reputation.
Yes, it does.
We need to be improving that reputation. And I think with something like CMP, which is one strand of our larger regulation argument, that the Minister has announced again this morning that they will be regulating the industry, that is a real huge step forward. Arla has been campaigning for it for 20 years. And I think the end is now in sight. We are going to get a more professional, more respected industry than we have today when it all comes through.
Sounds marvellous.
Excellent.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much. Cheers. Thank you.
Good. Top man. In fact, we bumped into him outside and he was already mic'd up and we were like, who's Chris? Who's that guy with the mic already on? Like, we should interview him.
So I went up to him and said, you look important. Okay.
He was important. He is important.
Let's bring it back to Luke.
Yes.
So Luke, you are an early advocate of a technique called landlord farming. I keep banging on about it, but tell us in your words what landlord farming is. We'll come on to the video bit and the digital mayor bit in a second.
So it's providing information that clients can use whether or not you are a landlord or if you're a seller. So you term it landlord farming. It can involve estate agents as well as lettings.
It should actually be called landlord and vendor farming. It's just that we can't be bothered to change the name of the We took it to the vote. We took it to the vote in the group, and someone said, "No, I think it is."
Yeah, that seems sensible.
Yeah.
But it's there to establish yourself as being the authority in your marketplace, is the way that I see it, and the go-to person if anyone's looking to buy, sell, rent within the Leicester area.
How do you think that's? I mean, how do you think that's impacted your business?
It's not a quick win.
Well, no, but then if you look at Gary Vaynerchuk, you look at Tom Panos, You look at who was saying the other day about quick wins. Jerry Lyons was talking about.
There's no such thing.
There's no such thing as quick wins. It's hard work, dedication.
But there's so many that get disappointed after a month, or sometimes even a week, thinking, I've put this article out, but I've had nothing come from it. You've just got to be consistent. And Gary Vaynerchuk talks about consistency.
That's right.
And Tom Powers talks about being an overnight success. It took him 10 years to be an overnight success.
A lot of successful people say that. It's taken me X years to be an overnight success.
And then all of a sudden, it's like a conveyor belt, and you get inquiries, or you get recognition, or new business comes in.
Well, you're on BBC Radio Leicester all the time. You have a steady stream of landlords coming to you. You've even got the MP on you, haven't you?
We have, with the Love Oadby. So they've approached us wanting to help us.
You're launching the Love Oadby.
Yeah.
That's been super successful because we're advocates of digital mayor.
Yeah.
Which we touched on in other episodes, but we've not really we have gone into it, but basically becoming the face of your place.
Yeah.
Becoming the digital mayor of your
You ought to register that phrase.
The face of your place. I love the
face of your place!
Yeah, maybe we should have a motion graphic.
Yeah.
Maybe you can put your one dome on.
I love my one-dome glasses, but the problem
I've actually asked one dome for some extra ones.
Then I can't see.
If one dome, could you get your finger out and please send us? And if anyone from one dome is watching this, we have asked your marketing department for a big box of these because when guests come along, we want to give them one dome
sunglasses every time. We should have it like as a giveaway, like
a goodie bag.
So I mean, digital mayor is super important. We've said that, and the importance of doing that. But I think you're doing that. You're doing that here and now.
Yeah.
You know, with your video content.
Yeah.
So I'm going to launch a new feature, which is called the Ask the Prop Show.
Oh, Ask the Prop Show. Yeah, we know about this one. Yeah, you ran that one by me.
So we've got.
That's nice intro graphics.
Thank you very much. It took me a little while to build them. But yeah, so we've had some questions in from the landlord farming community.
Okay. That's in layman's terms. That's estate agents and
letting agents who've sent some questions into the show.
Okay then.
Talking about basic video production, but also talking about landlord
get on with
farming.
it. Come on, let's get on with it.
I had a question in.
Make up the name.
Luke St.Clair.
Oh, he seems a nice man.
He sent me a message. He was saying the types of video that can get you noticed in your area. But I'm going to throw it back to you.
Yeah.
What are the types
of videos to get you noticed? Because, do you know what? You're producing some fantastic content, you know, and you're here with us today to enhance that, and tweak that, and make it better. Luke. But yeah, and I think... But what do you think? What do you think has been a driving success?
That's someone else sending in another message, another question.
It's another question actually.
That's all. Get on with it.
You will be able to ask the question.
What do you think has been the content that's really pushed you forward? You know, because I know you do the top 20 streets.
Yeah. So top 20 streets is what kicked it all off to start with. So we started with one area. And that went really successful, so we moved it to the other two areas that we deal with. But probably the most successful are the local business interviews or groups.
Yes.
Those kind of because people lower their guard and lower their barriers because you're not selling anything with top 20 streets, but because it's property related. But also it gets you more involved in the community.
Hold on, what the hell? I know the answer, but for the people out there in estate agency land, what the hell are you getting out of interviewing Barbara from Barbara's coffee shop in Oadby?
So with the coffee shop in Oadby, it helped us build a relationship with the coffee shop.
Did you get free coffee now?
No, unfortunately not. No.
That's a shame.
I know.
Did you get a discount?
No, I want to try and...
You should try and get 10%.
Try for that one, yeah.
Such a shame.
Yeah.
Such a shame.
I got one.
You missed out there, didn't you?
Yeah. You missed out. Gonna have to try
But it's not about free coffee, is it?
No, it's not. It's about promoting local businesses.
Yeah, so it is. It's about being involved in your local high street because, again, the way I look at it is that if you don't help each other, eventually that high street will diminish, and then that's your business included as part of it.
Do you know you're right? I didn't realise that.
Yeah.
All as high street agents are banging on about being high street agents, but if we as become the ambassador to the high street,
Well, otherwise there'll be no high street.
well,
If people don't support it, there'll be
do you
no
know,
high street.
I've had an epiphany.
Epiphany?
Do you know, that's so, I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, but wow. You're
There
so
you go.
right.
That's why he's on the show.
That's why he's on the show.
He's been in your place next week.
Revelation time, come on.
And that's what we want to do with Love Oadby.
Yeah.
And then we're going to start it with Love Oadby, and then we're going to replicate that once we've fine-tuned it, got it to a working model.
So what's Love Oadby going to look like then?
So Love Oadby is going to be a Facebook page as well as a website. It's going to be a community hub.
Yeah,
so
fantastic.
It's going to be promoting all the local independent businesses if
Yeah.
they want to be involved.
Yeah.
They're not. No one's going to be under any pressure.
Yeah.
It's going to be the local butcher. So once a month or once every 2 weeks, going to visit him. What have you got on special this week, Jim? So he can help promote what he's got on offer. So as it comes to Christmas, he could be talking about his turkeys or whatever.
Yeah.
The coffee shop, what's the popular drink? So it could be these frappuccino things. That
Always
everyone's
saying, what turkeys you got, but what do you love about Oadby? What do you love about Oadby
Oadby.
people?
Yeah.
You know, just
Yeah.
making it all about Oadby.
Yeah.
Because I think you got the Oadby MP all on it, haven't you?
Yeah. So the OBMP or the office to the MP contacted us at the weekend, wants to help us to help
They
promote
contacted
it.
you. Have you already been in touch, or they
Yeah.
just...
Well, we're literally, the Love Oadby page has been up for 2 weeks.
Right.
The Love Oadby website's been up for 2 weeks. And they contacted us
Really?
and said,
Wow.
look, this is something we want to help promote. We want to help promote the town centre because, again, it's about celebrating what the town centres have got, not what they haven't got.
Yeah.
That's a big
sure.
government initiative. A big government initiative anyway
Yeah.
to revitalise the high street. It started
Is that part of the bid stuff, is it?
bid stuff, business
it's Mary
incubation,
Porter's,
Mary
wasn't
Porter's
it? Yeah.
Porter's pilots.
Yeah.
Business incubation. Well, I bid for one of those when I worked in government.
Yeah.
I bid for a Porter's pilot funding
For Grantham.
for Grantham.
Yeah.
But there's also obviously there are business incubation districts.
Yeah.
A bid funding.
So
for
really,
private
it's a
so
case of
it's
getting
tapping into that.
It's getting involved with the community, being the champion for your town,
Face of
and
your place.
face of your place. And because all estate agency, all your business is based on that town, when it comes to property, people will talk about you.
Yeah, and it's been successful for others as well. You know, Luke's been an advocate of landlord farming, but he's also been an advocate of producing decent quality video and taking it to the whole next level. And that's what we're going to work with him on over the coming weeks to push him even further forward.
Well, Adam in Sawbridgeworth.
But Adam's got a fantastic Love Sawbridgeworth page.
Chelmsford.
Steve
Yeah.
Frost got
Yeah,
a fantastic Love Chelmsford page. You know, Lorraine in Tamworth's got a fantastic
Yes.
Love Tamworth page. You know, these things are doing really, really well for them, and they really are setting them apart from people and saying
It's being
actually,
different. It's telling a story. Basically, this is my store. This is what makes us different. Not because we go in a different portal. It's I'm so proud of this town. We want to live, work, and invest here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to shout about it from the roof, and
Yeah.
people will be naturally
That's right.
attracted to you.
But
That's
I
right.
do think that people have got to remember not to compare their chapter 1, this is Tom Panos' phrase,
Sure.
their chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Right.
because people are going to see these lovely polished videos,
Yeah.
or better videos than what they started off with.
Yeah.
They've just got to remember, have a look at some of the early ones,
Absolutely.
and just get out there and...
But
Well, we
every-
can do training.
But everyone's.
I think there's some people in this table that do training, isn't there?
We do training. We,
do.
Well, should we have a shameless plug? There is a Property Video Solutions Basics Video Training course on the 10th of September.
We'll put a link in
There's
there.
a link in. There's a link. So that's a full day's training here at our studios in Grantham with the three of us. Sadly, Luke won't be here. Looking at basic equipment, stuff to get you started.
How to edit.
How to do basic edit.
Content
A bit
ideas.
of content.
Not fear the lens.
Not fear the lens.
Yeah.
Sandwiches.
Sandwiches.
There are sandwiches and
Yes.
coffee.
Good.
And so that's
Good.
coming
Good.
next month.
Right. Well, it
it's
sounds
also-
a time at clicking at what we need to be finishing. We don't want to let the people.
We do.
What's this award
We're
here?
going to wish Matt a happy birthday.
My birthday
Happy
today.
birthday.
Thank you.
Do you know it's your birthday?
Yeah.
It's my birthday.
Yeah,
You can sit Bacardi like it's your birthday.
it's your birthday.
I've got a nice bottle of red this morning,
Yeah.
but I haven't drank it yet.
Very good.
Yeah.
And
Is that
less,
lunch?
and
Yeah.
less
Go
important,
on.
I am Employee of the Month for
well
my
done.
Wrexham film.
Oh,
Yes.
that was a fierce competition.
Thanks.
How many did you have to beat to win that?
Well, there's Matt and Michelle. So really, It's just my turn.
The next month there'll be Jessica.
There will, yes, we have.
So the-
Exciting news, exciting news. We've got a lady called Jessica who's coming to do some a bit of training with us and a bit of work experience, and then hopefully she will become another one of our PBS pirates.
Yes.
Which will be
Bloody well hope so, because you're so behind on your editing.
yeah, that's it. Okay.
I
There you
love
go.
Oh, Countrywide?
Oh, Countrywide.
What would you do with
What would you do with
Countrywide? I've been asking
Countrywide?
people this.
Yes.
Well, probably wouldn't have looked at buying any shares.
Who
would buy
buy
shares?
shares in Countrywide?
How much did you pay for them?
A couple of weeks ago, I bought 10 grand's worth at 52p.
How much are they
Shouldn't
worth?
that?
How much are they worth today, Christopher?
Today they're worth 17p each.
They'll come back.
They'll come
Really?
back. It's the long
It's
game.
a long game. It's a long
I thought
game.
they were cheap.
At 50p?
Yeah.
Well, they're cheap
Cheaper
now.
Bastards. Can I say that?
She doubled down. Doubled down. Buy them at 17. But yeah. Awesome.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that's the end of our show. So I want to say
Thanks for
happy
watching.
birthday to my
Thanks.
good mate Matt.
Well done on Employee of the Month.
Oh, thank you very much.
Lou, thanks for coming
Thanks,
in.
amazing.
Pleasure.
Thanks for coming in.
Chris.
Big Dog, thanks
Dog,
for
always
just
thanks.
being you, big guy.
Okay, so should we do the final outro?
We'll do the outro.
Shalom!